We're a supplier to, virtually all of the sports betting operators you've heard of, and as such, an investment in Genius, which is a way of investing really in the sector, in the continuing regulation and continuing growth of the sector. In the United States, we're seeing a lot of, new states come online as they become licensed. We are extremely progressive in our licensing. We're licensed in 10 states, with 3 tribal states as well as have application going in all of the others that are available to us. So we're well positioned to take advantage of that growth. I think there's an expression in the UK which is a rising tide lifts all boats, and I really think that for our business that's something that we benefit from in the regulating markets.
Now we just heard from Mark Locke, CEO of Genius Sports, talk a little bit about his company and its long-term future. Now, UK-based Genius Sports announced back in October that it's going to be going public via SPAC merger with DMYD. Now, Genius Sports, who acquires data from different sports events and provides it to different sports betting operators, announced that this deal is going to be valued around $1.5 billion, and it's going to be expected to close in Q1 of 2021. The company maintains partnerships with over 500 different sports organizations globally, which includes the NBA, NCAA, the English Premier League, NASCAR, and many more. In this episode, I'm going to break down Genius Sports, what the company is all about, as well as the SPAC that they're merging with, and what I'm going to be doing with the stock. Now, before we get started, don't forget to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and if you guys like this content, you can feel free to go ahead and subscribe. If you guys want some free money or some free stocks, links are going to be down below in the comment section for you guys to go ahead and do that. Now, without further ado, let's dive right into what Genius Sports is all about. So Genius is powering the sports data ecosystem. Their mission is to be the official data, technology, and commercial partner that powers the global ecosystem connecting sports, betting, and media. Now they collect official live sports data and provide that data and mission-critical technology to sportsbooks which can't run without it. They provide the highest quality data, they deliver scalable and critical technology, they're 100% data integrity, and they have long-term, low-churn partnerships. So quickly going over the key investment highlights is that they're a leading sports data provider with mission-critical data for sportsbooks. They have a unique position with a scale and technology leading to high barriers of entry. They have multiple growth levers in a market with strong tailwinds. They have an attractive financial profile with strong operating leverage. And their founder-led, experienced, and innovative management team with deep industry relations. So Genius Sports deals with both data acquisition and data monetization. On the data acquisition side, they use their data to be able to partner to sports leagues globally. Now they acquire exclusive official rights to sports data from major leagues and federations, and after that they provide vital technology and services to smaller scale sports leagues. On the monetization front, they act as mission-critical suppliers to sports betting operators. They're projecting $190 million in 2021 revenue at a 29% revenue growth rate. They're also profitable as they're projecting about $35 million in 2021 EBITDA. They also have over 240,000 sports events that are covered. Now, Genius Sports gets about 11% of the revenue from sports, 74% of the revenue from data and streaming, and 15% of the revenue from media. Now, Genius Sports claims that they're one of 2 players of scale providing full service provision. Now, one of their main competitors is Sports Radar, which is actually much bigger than them. However, Genius Sports claims that they have a whole suite of different services. Now, only 2 companies possess the scale and product offering to be able to capture a significant share of the market. Due to the nature of this industry and how there's many different regulations, Genius Sports believes that their technology and scale provide high barriers of entry and low churn. The technology exchange for rights means Genius becomes fully embedded and hard to replace. Because they have unique rights, it gives them a strong strategy with worldwide breadth and depth of coverage. What we're looking at is a pyramid tier of the main sports leagues. And in the first tier, it's very notable leagues such as the Premier League, the NBA, or NCAA. They have access to a long tail of events, which is vital for sports books operators. It's good to see that they already have notable partnerships with many of the popular leagues, and I believe that as they continue to grow, they'll only be able to secure more and more partnerships as they've already proven themselves to be a reputable business. We're seeing steady growth year over year in their events coverage as they're seeing a significant growth in 2020, up to 240,000 events covered due to their acquisition of official rights and their monetization. Genius Sports and their technology is really standing in the middle between sports books and sports leagues. And because they have official rights to these sports leagues, it's very low churn and very sticky. And on the sportsbook side, they have increased content and engagement, which leads to more demand for official data and services. Now, the sports betting market is experiencing fast worldwide growth, and Genius's unique positioning means that it's not only reliant on one market, but it's accelerating growth and de-risking other revenue sources. US is seeing the most growth with 31% compound annual growth rate. However, Europe and Asia and the Middle East is still seeing double-digit revenue growth at around 11% and 13%. Genius Sports plans on continuing to expand and to capture a bigger market share in the US market. Now, out of a possible 19 states, Genius is live in 10, has submitted applications for 2, and has begun the pre-application process for the remaining 7. So as we talked about before, Genius Sports is trying to differentiate its different revenue sources. So they're claiming that they have multiple levers of growth as they're focusing on data, media, and streaming. Now, data takes up about 73% of their 2020 revenue, with media about 15% and streaming only about 1%. They plan on increasing the number of official rights, increase liberalization, increasing the number of partners, and increasing the share of wallet. Now, they're seeing strong, consistent growth over the past 5 years. From 2016 to 2020, they saw about 250% growth, and 60% of the revenue is recurring. 30% of the revenue comes from top 10 customers. However, that's not really too concerning. Now, they're forecasting about 29% a compound annual growth rate into 2022, and even last year, they're profitable, around 14 million in EBITDA, and next year, they're forecasting about 35 million in EBITDA. Now, Genius's long-term opportunity really comes from the $60 billion global sports betting market. Virtually all sports books are powered by Genius, and 40% of market share of events are powered by Genius. Now, with 5% share of the sports books GGR, they're projecting 40% long-term adjusted EBITDA gross margin. So this is a forward-looking chart. If they get 30% of the market share, they're projecting around $1 billion in total revenue. However, if they get up to 50%, it would go up to $1.5 billion. So now let's look at the transaction summary. DMYD Technology Group has agreed to combine with Genius Sports, valuing the company at an enterprise value of about $1.4 billion. This values it at 7.4 times 2021 revenue and 6 times 2022 revenue. Now we can compare this to other notable industries such as info and data analytics, as well as online gaming, and we can see Genius Sports is actually a more attractive valuation than this average. Now, comparing Genius Sports to other notable online gaming companies that recently went public via SPAC, such as DraftKings and Golden Nugget Online, it looks significantly cheaper, as DraftKings is trading around 27 times its revenue, as well as Golden Nugget around 9 times. Now, to sum it all up, Genius Sports has a business model that's set up for growth. They provide a broad portfolio of events to sportsbooks under a mix of contractually guaranteed revenue and growth upside. Because they have these longer-term 4 to 5 year commitments, they have guaranteed revenues coming in from these sportsbooks. And not only that, but they have upside levers from these sportsbooks as well. All Genius agreements include growth levers that enable them to grow as customers and the markets grow. So the way that I see it is Genius Sports is really well positioned to take advantage of this growing sports betting industry. As the sports betting industry continues to grow, Genius Sports, being one of the leaders in this space, can continue to gain more partnerships, upsell their sports books, and continue to gain traction in being one of the leading data providers. So as we all know, data in the 21st century has become an invaluable goldmine for different organizations to be able to gain actual insights as well as to help strengthen their business strategy. Genius Sports is one of those unknown little companies that's helping fuel this whole sports betting industry. Now, although Genius Sports isn't the largest company or the market leader in this space, they're continuously making strategic investments and strategic partnerships that's helping drive their revenue going forward. I believe Genius Sports has a great long-term future as they're really becoming the backbone and being the picks and shovels for this industry. And as we've seen with DraftKings and other sports betting stocks, they've done really well as there's been a lot of positive optimism going into this industry. Now, the sports betting industry is still in its early innings as states are just beginning to start legalizing it, However, I believe sports betting is eventually going to become legal in all 50 states around the US as more and more states and governments understand the kind of tax advantages that they can gain from this kind of industry. Now, I believe it's a great idea for Genius Sports to go public via SPAC in the US, as it not only gives them more publicity, but it helps more and more people understand exactly what the business is all about. I like to think of Genius Sports as the Palantir of the sports betting industry, and I believe that they are significantly overlooked as not that many people really understand what they do. Now, Genius Sports already has many different notable partnerships. However, I believe that this will only continue, and as the sports betting industry continues to grow, I believe Genius Sports will continue to rise and continue to grow as well. Well guys, thanks for sticking around. That was my breakdown of Genius Sports. Now, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this stock as well as this industry as a whole. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video, and let's go get that bag.